Hello, this is Nolan and Lucas, and we're going to show you how to make an automatic electronic light control. Okay, so this is our schematic for the circuit. This big triangle in the middle is an op-amp, and what an op-amp does is it has 4 inputs and 1 output. Now how it works is if the input going into the negative terminal that you see there, if that is greater than the voltage input going into the positive terminal, then the V plus that you see on top will be your V out, and vice versa. If the voltage input going into the positive terminal is greater than the voltage input into the negative terminal, then your V minus will be your V out. Okay. So branching out of the negative and positive terminals, we have 2 resistors each connected to a 12 volt source. The LDR that you see there, that is our photoresistor, and that will give a resistance that will change depending on how light it is or how dark it is. The resistance will increase by about 20 times in the dark versus the light. So basically how this works is if the photoresistor is in the shade, it'll give a large resistance, which will make the voltage through the negative terminal greater than the voltage to the positive terminal, which will make your V out 12 volts. But if it's in light, then it will give a small resistance, which will make voltage to the positive terminal greater, so your V out will be 0 volts, which means it won't get any power to your light source, which is how that works. And then the right side of that diagram just shows how the V out of the op amp connects to the LED. Basically how that works is if there's current running through that part of the circuit, the bottom piece there, the transistor will open up or will close the circuit, so current will run through the LED and we'll turn the light on. Okay, so now we're going to show you how to put the circuit together on a breadboard. These are all the parts you'll need. That's the op amp right there, the black box. That's the transistor, the silver thing. You need all the resistors that were shown on the schematic, which we have laid out here. Okay, so to start, we're going to connect the first resistor from the power source into the second input of the op amp. Then we're going to connect another resistor, as you saw in the schematic, to ground. And we're going to do the same thing to the other input of the op amp. 2 resistors, one to the power supply and one to ground. That's our photoresistor right there. Now we're going to connect the 12 volt input to the other third input of the op amp, and then the 0 volt input to the fourth input of the op amp. Now we're going to connect our V out to our transistor there. We're going to put a resistor in between them. This is everything you saw in the schematic on the breadboard. now we're going to test the voltage across that load resistor. This is what we would get across a light source if we had that hooked up. Okay, so we're going to test the voltage now. So Lucas is going to move his finger over the photoresistor, and we're going to see if we get a change in voltage. So he puts his finger over it, and it goes to 12 volts. He takes his finger back off, and it goes to 0 because of the change in light and darkness that the photoresistor picks up. So that's how that works. Now we just gotta connect the light to it, and it should be good to go. Thanks. Bye.